One of the things I hear from time to time from people when they're on their weight loss journey, especially when things are going a bit slowly, is comments like, "God, this is hard. It feels like a battle. Far out. This is such a challenge." And I just wanted you to take a moment to think about the fact that it's actually meant to be hard. Burning fat is not easy, and that's actually a good thing in terms of survival. And that is actually why it's difficult, because you've got to stop and think about what burning fat actually means for your body. And to be honest, it's something your body does not want to do. And that's why it's hard. It comes down to survival. If you think about good old fat, here's our lovely friend, the ½ kilo of fat. What it represents in your body is an energy store that your body can use if it needs to in a time of crisis. Maybe a time of famine, a time of sickness, a time where food is in short supply. Your body then has an emergency supply store that it can use to stay alive. So if you want to burn that, you can do it, of course you can, but it's not necessarily going to be easy because you're going against nature. Your body wants to have that fat there. This is particularly true if you're female and of childbearing age, because your body wants to make sure that you have a nice little store of energy there so that if you do get pregnant, you've got the availability to support a baby, even if a famine came. Now, of course, the reality with our day-to-day life is that famines don't usually come, and luckily, crises don't come too often either. So in our modern life, these things aren't really relevant for most of us. However, from our body's perspective and from a survival perspective, your body wants to have fat. I mean, if you think of times of crisis, for example, when people went to concentration camps, it was probably a really damn good thing that they had a bit of fat because they would have needed that to survive under those really extreme circumstances. So don't expect burning fat to be easy. It's not. You're going against nature. However, there are another couple of elements to this that I want you to think about. So perhaps it's your plan, or is it that your goal is not exciting enough? Now, if it's really hard because you're not enjoying what you're eating or you're hungry, it's come around to dinner time and you're thinking, oh God, I don't want to eat that, that's hard. So if that's the kind of thing you're going through, maybe it's time to get a new plan. Maybe you're trying to push things too hard because you are desperate to get the results quickly. And you might be trying extreme intermittent fasting, or maybe you're doing really restrictive keto and it actually is too hard for you. If that's the case, if you're finding the plan is not working, get a new plan. Cut back a bit, because I'm always saying to clients that whatever I suggest as part of my eating plans, you have to be able to do it. You have to be ready to do it. Otherwise, it is going to be too hard and you simply won't be able to do it. But what I've learned is that in terms of somebody's ability to do it and their passion and desire, a lot of it comes down to the importance and excitement of their goal. Now, when I have a client who's got a really exciting goal coming up, like maybe a wedding, or they've booked a trip on a beach and they're really looking forward to it, but maybe a bit nervous about getting their bikini on, but when their goal is exciting, yes, I don't tend to hear this comment that, oh, it's hard, because people are really motivated to take the action because they really want the outcome. So if you're really focused on what you're doing and why you're doing it, I think it's probably a bit easier to take the action. Because often the action that we have to take on a weight loss journey, which can be difficult, is saying no. So it's not that the food on our plan is hard or that our plan is difficult, but perhaps we're going through a really social time, we're being invited out a lot, we're being offered food at work, and we find that we're having to say no to that food. And sometimes when you have to say no, it builds up, and that isn't necessarily easy. So if you are a really social person and you're just struggling because you're finding these opportunities are happening a lot, it really helps to just focus on that goal. Why are you doing this? What's the outcome you're seeking? Because if that's exciting to you, it's going to be a lot easier to say no. And I always say to people, if you are saying no, think about what you're actually saying yes to in that act of saying no. You might be saying no to cake at work or maybe something that's yummy, but actually by saying no, you're really saying yes to your goal, yes to your weight loss, yes to something that's really important to you. So think about what you're saying yes to when you actually say no, and that might make it a bit easier. So that's what I want you to really think about. Number one, burning fat isn't meant to be easy, but that's okay. We can still do it. However, it's not just going to necessarily drop off you. And that's a good thing in terms of crisis. In terms of your health, that's actually a good thing. Number two, if the plan you're trying to follow is too hard, get a new plan. There's lots of options out there. Come and talk to me. I can certainly help you with a fun plan that's hopefully a bit easier to follow and easier to stick to. And number three, if you're really just staggering a bit because of being pulled in different directions, refocus on your goal. Why is this important to you? I think if you ask anybody who's lost weight, especially a significant sum of weight that's taken a long time, and you said to them, was it easy? They'll probably all have the same answer. No, it's not easy, but it's worth it.